All right, let's be honest. Ever notice how some people love to push your limits? They interrupt, throw in passive-aggressive comments, or act like your time and feelings don't matter. And we're just supposed to smile and ignore it? Not happening. Today, if you're tired of dealing with people who do not show you respect, this video is for you. Today, I am sharing some blunt, maybe even slightly bold ways to handle disrespect without losing your calm or your dignity. So, get ready, because by the end, you'll know exactly how to show others where the line is. Let's begin. Use the silent stare. Let's begin with one of my favorite low-key but powerful techniques, the silent stare. You might wonder, is just staring really effective? Yes, it is. When someone is being openly rude or trying to challenge you, staying silent and just calmly staring at them throws them off completely. Here's why it works. People who act disrespectfully usually want a reaction. They want you to get nervous, to snap, or to argue back. It is a way to pull you into their negativity and make you question yourself. But when you just sit there, looking at them without a word or expression, the balance shifts. Now, I get that it might feel a bit passive-aggressive, but really think about it. There's something unsettling about someone not reacting the way you expected. Holding that steady stare is like saying, without words, I am not playing your game. It's a quiet way to take control without doing much at all. And often, that silence becomes the strongest no you will ever give. Let me give you a real example. I was in a meeting once where someone kept cutting me off, non-stop. You know the type. Loud, always trying to be the smartest person in the room. I tried speaking up, stayed polite, but he kept talking over me. Finally, I just sat back, folded my arms, and looked at him. I did not blink. I did not react. Just a solid 5-second stare, nothing more. The tension in the room was thick, and soon everyone else turned to look at him too. He started stumbling over his words, looked away, and didn't interrupt again for the rest of the meeting. That one stare said more than any words could have. And you know what? After that, he treated me with more respect, like he finally got that I was not someone he could steamroll. Sometimes the best way to show people who you are is by saying nothing. But let's look deeper, because this is more than just a clever move. Using the silent stare reminds both you and them that you do not have to react on someone else's terms. You owe no one an emotional response, and you definitely do not need to prove your value to people who do not appreciate it. It is about owning your space and your calm. Often when we get disrespected, we feel we have to defend ourselves. Or worse, just ignore it because we do not want to make it awkward. But the silent stare is not aggressive. It is simply a sign that you are grounded, composed, and not easily shaken. It also holds the other person accountable. A lot of people who behave badly never get called out. They never deal with consequences. When you hit them with that calm, blank stare, it is like holding up a mirror. You're not telling them they are wrong, you are letting them see it for themselves. And most people do not like what they see. I've noticed something else about this technique. It not only gets the other person to back off, it also builds your confidence. Standing there silently, letting your stillness speak, reminds you that their words do not control you. I used to laugh nervously at rude comments or try to explain myself when someone judged my choices, but that just drained me and left me feeling worse. Learning to look someone in the eye and let the silence do the talking completely changed things for me. It is a small act with a big message, a quiet, firm stand for your self-respect. So next time someone is rude or crosses a line, try the silent stare. Let them feel your calm. You might be surprised how quickly it makes them uneasy and how strong it makes you feel. That look says, I respect myself too much to be pulled into your mess. And that is a message worth sending. Let silence be your response. Here's another simple but powerful strategy: silence. When someone is disrespectful, one of the strongest things you can do is say absolutely nothing. I know it might feel like silence means you are letting them get away with it, but that is not true. Silence is a choice, and sometimes it is the boldest choice you can make. People who throw negativity at you are often looking for a reaction. They want a fight, a defense, or just some emotional response that gives them control. But when you say nothing and just let their words sit there, they are left to deal with the awkward silence. And that silence, it is louder than anything you could have said. Why does this work? Because those who are quick to disrespect others are used to getting attention. They are used to people defending themselves or getting upset. But silence sends a different message. It says, "You are not worth my energy." By not reacting, you stay in control and let them know that you do not tolerate their behavior. Sometimes the strongest statement you can make is no statement at all. Let me share an example. I knew someone who would often disguise rude comments as jokes, those subtle jabs that are not really funny. One day he made an unnecessary remark about my work, clearly trying to get under my skin. Normally, I would have tried to explain or maybe even clapped back, but this time I just raised an eyebrow and said nothing. I let the silence settle in. He looked at me, then looked down, muttered something, and that was it. He never tried that again. Once he realized I was not reacting, he had nothing to gain, and that is the power of silence. It takes away the attention disrespect is hoping for. There is a deeper meaning here. Choosing silence means choosing yourself. It says, "I care more about my peace than your opinion." That is not just strong, it is life-changing. So often we feel like we must respond, explain, or defend our actions to people who never truly valued us to begin with. But staying quiet breaks that pattern. It tells them without a word, "You are not getting my attention." Silence protects your energy. It keeps you from letting negativity in. The moment you stop reacting to every passive-aggressive remark or rude joke, you take back your power. You stop letting others into your emotional space and start setting your own terms. To be honest, using silence took practice. I used to feel that staying quiet meant I was weak. But over time, I noticed that reacting only left me feeling worse. When I stayed quiet and let the moment pass, I felt lighter, calmer, and more in charge. Every time I chose silence over reaction, I felt stronger. So next time someone disrespects you, pause, breathe, look them in the eye, and do not say a word. Let your silence speak for you. You will be surprised how uncomfortable it makes them and how good it feels for you. Make silence your response, because sometimes saying nothing at all is the most powerful thing you can do. Stop explaining your choices. Now this one might hit close to home. Stop explaining your choices. Really think about it. How many times have you made a decision for yourself and someone instantly asks, "Why? Why did you do that? Why did you skip that event? Why take that job?" People often act like they are owed a reason for every decision you make. But here's the truth. They are not. Your choices are yours, and you do not need to explain how you live your life. That might sound a bit bold, but let's be honest. Most people who question your decisions are not trying to understand. They are trying to judge. They want to find something wrong with what you did, to make you second-guess yourself, or just to feel better about their own path by challenging yours. And you know what? You do not have to play along. Keep your distance. Let's be honest. Sometimes the smartest way to deal with people who constantly disrespect you is by keeping your distance. It might feel a bit harsh, even somewhat cold, but here is the truth. Not everyone deserves a front-row seat in your life. If someone keeps crossing the line, one of the healthiest things you can do is give yourself some space. Now, this does not mean you dislike them or that you are overreacting. It simply means you value yourself enough to protect your peace. Keeping your distance is not about being rude or ignoring others. It is about choosing how and where to invest your time and energy. Picture your life like an exclusive club. Not everyone should have VIP access. If someone keeps stepping over your boundaries, belittling you, or spreading negativity, why keep them close? Taking a step back is not only okay, it is essential. Distance can help you see situations more clearly, free from guilt or emotional fog. Think about it. When you stay close to people who show you no respect, It is like giving them open access to your mental and emotional space where they can criticize and judge freely. Then we wonder why we feel stressed, anxious, or emotionally tired. Creating that space is a way of taking care of yourself. It protects your emotional health, maintains your inner calm, and opens up room for people who genuinely support and respect you. Letting go of the guilt that comes with pulling away can be freeing. You are not responsible for keeping disrespectful people in your life. Let me tell you a quick story. I had a friend who always had something negative to say about my job, my choices, even my music. At first, I told myself that's just how they are, or maybe I'm being too sensitive. So I kept them around, brushing off the comments like they were no big deal. But over time, those little remarks started wearing me down. I found myself walking on eggshells, always ready for the next jab or joke that stung a bit too much. One day I decided to try something different. I did not confront them or make it dramatic. I simply started seeing them less. Instead of every week, it became once a month. And honestly, I felt lighter, freer. That space made me realize how toxic that friendship had become. By stepping back, I could see clearly. I deserved friends who lifted me up, not ones who pulled me down. Here's something to remember. People might tell you that keeping your distance is selfish. They will say things like, "But they are family," or "You've known them forever." And yes, it might feel awkward or even wrong to admit that someone close to you is not good for you. We are told to always be loyal, to forgive, to be nice, but at what cost? Here's a truth. Protecting your peace is not selfish. It is necessary. You are not here to be someone's emotional punching bag or to constantly boost their ego. Sometimes the clearest way to show someone you have had enough is by quietly stepping away. And that's powerful. It reminds you that you come first. You do not have to play a role someone else decided for you. You do not owe anyone unlimited access to your thoughts, time, or feelings. By creating distance from those who do not treat you right, you are telling the world and yourself that your peace matters. That is not just taking care of yourself. That is self-respect. Stepping back also gives you the space to focus on people who actually matter, those who bring joy, not stress. The more time you spend around people who respect you, the stronger and more confident you become. And the less time you spend around the ones who drain you, the less power they have to affect your mood, thoughts, or day. I used to feel incredibly guilty about distancing myself, even from people who treated me poorly. I kept thinking, what if they think I don't care? Or maybe I'm being too sensitive. But I learned that stepping back was not about being cold. It was about giving myself room to grow. Once I gave myself that permission, I felt something shift. I had more energy, more peace, and I could clearly see the kind of people I truly wanted around me. So here's my challenge to you. Take a moment to think about the people in your life who keep disrespecting you, who make you feel small, tired, or low. Now ask yourself, do they really deserve that much access to me? Hold your head high. Let's talk about something simple but powerful, holding your head high. It may sound like the kind of advice you have heard before, but it truly works. When dealing with people who do not respect you, here is the deal. When someone disrespects you, they often want you to feel small. They want you to question yourself, look down, and shrink. But when you choose to stand tall with your head held high, you send a message without saying a word. You are saying, I know who I am, and nothing you do can take that from me. And here is the interesting part. Confidence unsettles people who thrive on putting others down. They rely on the idea that their words or actions can throw you off balance. But when you refuse to let their behavior affect you, when you keep your head up, you show them that they do not have that power anymore. You become someone they cannot shake. That throws them off more than anything else. Let me share something personal. I once had to deal with someone who just could not resist throwing little digs at me every time we met. Always with a smirk, always pretending it was just a joke. At first, I tried to ignore it, thinking I could just let it slide, but it started to wear me down. I dreaded being around them, always feeling like I had to be ready to defend myself. Then one day I decided I was done playing that game. I showed up, shoulders back, head high. And when they made one of those comments, I looked them in the eye, gave a calm smile, and moved on like it meant nothing. You know what happened? They stopped. It was like they realized their words no longer reached me, that I had risen above it. Their power faded. There is something incredibly strong about walking with confidence. It is like an invisible shield that says, "You cannot touch me." Now here is the twist. People who disrespect others often cannot stand seeing confidence. It challenges how they see themselves. They like feeling superior, and when you do not act beneath them, it upsets that balance. But the truth is, holding your head high is not about proving anything to them. It is about living with the full belief in your own worth. It is a quiet, steady form of self-respect. When you do that, you are reminding yourself that your value is not something someone else decides. It is something you know within. I want you to remember something. Your self-worth is not earned from others. It is something you own, completely. And when you walk through life as if that is true, you start to feel it more and more. This confidence did not come naturally to me. I used to be the person who slouched, avoided eye contact, and tried to disappear when someone criticized me. It felt easier than standing up for myself, but slowly I began to notice. Every time I stood tall, every time I did not let someone's words get to me, I felt stronger. It was like I kept telling myself, I do not need anyone else's approval to feel good about myself. Holding your head high is not just about how you stand, it is how you carry yourself mentally. Walk into every room like you belong. Do not shrink to fit into someone else's version of who you should be. If someone says something rude or sarcastic, let it slide right off. They are not really talking about you. They are reflecting their own insecurities. So why should it bother you? Here is my challenge. Next time someone disrespects you, whether it is a small jab or a direct insult, do not react with anger. Take a breath, straighten your back, lift your head and look them in the eye, say nothing. Just stand in your strength. You will feel a kind of peace, a sense of control. You will know that their words hold no power anymore. Holding your head high is more than good posture. It is a message. A quiet message that says, I know my value, I respect myself, and nothing you say can change that. Thanks for watching. If this message spoke to you, take a moment to reflect, apply it, and protect your peace. Until next time, take care of yourself, and remember, you deserve respect.